Hey guys, how are you? I hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing a review of a horror film from the USA, English language, released in the year 2014, directed by Kevin Kolsch and Dennis Widmeyer, and this film is called Starry Eyes. So Starry Eyes is about this young actress. She has ambitions of becoming someone very famous, but she is stuck in her day-to-day job of being in a fast food restaurant. She's around friends that have similar ambitions but not going anywhere. So she's becoming very, very frustrated. Time and time again she is being rejected from these auditions and she just doesn't know what to do with her life. So she hangs around these people who she considers as losers. They've got no real ambition, but they're just waiting around. One of them is a director who says that they'll all star in his film one day, but that seems like a bit of a pipe dream. So she doesn't know where to go until one day she comes across this audition for a movie called The Silver Screen. So she goes to the audition. Initially she gets rejected. She goes into a cubicle on the toilet. She starts having a fit. She starts pulling out her hair, and one of the people doing the audition notices her fit in the toilet, and they say to her to come back into the audition room and to show them what she was doing in the cubicle. So she's thinking, what's going on here? So she does this, she has a fit, and they're won over by this. So it's a very morbid sort of outcome from this audition, but they say that they will contact her and that they will tell her what to do next. So they do contact her later on and they tell her to come to this house, and this is where her dreams are starting to become a reality, but then she starts to notice that maybe she's going to have to sacrifice everything she is as a person in order to get that big role. So whether or not she is prepared to do this is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Starry Eyes. This is one of the creepiest films I have seen in a very long time, and I ended up loving Starry Eyes. I think this is the closest thing to a perfect horror film that you could probably experience. Now it is a lower budget type of horror movie, but it is done very, very masterfully. I thought the overall theme of the film, are you willing to sell your soul to the devil in order to become a big star, was absolutely captivating. You've got this very sweet girl who is time and time again being disappointed by the very cutthroat sort of industry of film, and you sense that her frustration is starting to boil over. She starts to basically wish that she was a person that she wasn't, and then when she gets the opportunity, when she's lured by money, she starts to transform into this different person. So it does beg the question, if you've got a lot of money lured to you, are you prepared to sacrifice everything you are? Are you prepared to sacrifice your values, your morals, everything you are as a person in order to become rich and famous? Are you willing to betray your friends? Are you willing just to knock everyone out of the way in order to get what you want? And the movie depicts that in a very horrifying way, and I just thought it was an extremely interesting way. The story was absolutely mind-blowing. I loved everything about it. It kept your interest. It never got tired. It didn't feel like it was recycling ideas. As the movie goes along, the plot thickens. It becomes a deeper and darker film, and it's a very uncomfortable and disturbing film. And the beauty of this movie is that, yes, it does have extreme violence. When I say extreme violence, I mean extreme graphic violence. If you're not a seasoned horror fan, do not watch Starry Eyes. But the beauty of the movie is that it's not only a very extreme horror film, though, as far as violence is concerned, it's got an extreme sense of psychology. So in extreme horror films, that's very rare. It seems to rely on gore and shocking you through the gore. But yes, the movie does have gore and it does shock you through the gore, but the majority of it is a very psychological input into a woman who is starting to lose her way. And I just thought it was one of the creepiest experiences I've had in a very long time, and I think that was down to the visuals. Cinematography was absolutely fantastic. It actually felt like you were going through a nightmare. The soundtrack was phenomenal. The best part of the film, I thought, was that the soundtrack contributed to the mood. If you've got a really good soundtrack, I love it when a movie will utilise that and actually feels like the soundtrack is a character of its own and that it can just scare you by what you're hearing. And then, the acting was absolutely fantastic as well. This main character, this girl, as I said, she starts off very sweet, but when she starts to realise that she could be famous, she becomes a different person. So this actor, I can't recall her name, but she had to play a majority of emotions, different personalities, and I thought she absolutely nailed it. I thought she was an absolutely likeable character at the start, and you just felt tragedy and at the same time, fear for this girl towards the end. And I just thought it was absolutely fantastic. I'm not going to give anything away, so I can't talk too much about it, but the way it unfolds was just a joy to watch, and this is the reason why I like watching horror films, is that, yes, a lot of horror films out there are bad, but every now and then movies like Starry Eyes comes along and it just knocks you over. I just thought, the acting from the supporting cast, Noah Segan, who plays the wannabe director, I love this guy ever since I saw him in Dead Girl. and also someone's knocking at the door. As far as low budget movies are concerned, this guy is definitely a household name. I wish he would go on to bigger and better things because he certainly deserves it. He just commands respect every time you see him on screen. He has this certain charisma to him that just keeps you captivated. I just loved his character, although he was more of a supporting cast. I just loved his character, and the friendship between these frustrated actors was very strong, very authentic. Everyone does a good job. No one feels like they're reading from a script. And then when these friends are starting to be torn apart by this main character's ambition, it's just, as I said, it's fascinating, but at the same time it's quite sad as well, because these people were once very close, but the money, which is also a villain in the film, is starting to get in the way. So Starry Eyes was so much better than I thought it would be. As I said, I just thought it was going to be an extreme horror film, but it combines psychology so well. It's got the theme of selling your soul to the devil. Would you do it? And it makes you think about your own life. If you were told that you were going to get, say for example, $1 million, would you abandon who you are as a person? And personally, I don't think I would, but who knows? When you're actually hit with a lot of money, maybe you would change. And that's the scary thing about it. It's about human nature, and it just intertwines that with a very horrifying tale. And so as a result of that, I'm going to give Starry Eyes 5 stars. Go out there and see it if you haven't done so already. Alright guys, that's my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later. Bye.